Welcome to YOUCANIC. Today here in YOUCANIC we have our 2020 Buick Enclave, and we are removing the steering wheel. So to start with, you will disconnect your negative and positive battery cable. So we have our positive, the red one, and our negative right here. Our battery is located on the left hand side of the engine bay, closer to the front of the vehicle, about the middle side. And so we need a 10mm wrench and or socket to get on there and to loosen and to remove this. So we just need to loosen it enough that we can be able to get this off, maybe a little bit more. And sometimes you need to kind of open this up a little bit. And so we were able to pull the negative battery cable off, and also make sure that the vehicle has been de-energized. Give it about 10-20 minutes, and then also put your hand on the horn and make sure that there essentially is no power in your vehicle, because airbags are very sensitive and we don't want to deploy it if it hasn't been deployed. So we've done that procedure, and then the next thing, you're going to want it to reach your hand down here below the steering wheel, and that's where you can get your adjustment up and down and in and out. Pull it all the way out to give you space, and then put it in the lock position, and that will help you. Now, to be able to get this steering thing to pop off, there is a spring in there that holds this on 3 points, and the way we can release it is we need to turn the steering wheel 180 degrees so that it's straight upside down. Right? And then when you reach around the back, you will feel that there is a hole and an indent. And so you can either use a screwdriver or some type of pick tool if you can. And what you need to do is you need to get in there, and on the top side, you're gonna feel that it hits a point, and then you just need to pull up, like you hit solid metal, and then you just need to pull up. And when you pull up, you release all three of the tabs, and I'll show that. And then once we get out here, we want to disconnect. There are some wires here that we need to disconnect, and we'll start with, there's a ground wire where you have a little tab that you need to press, and then it can pull out. And now these we need to pull from the airbag. There's a tab on both sides. Here, tab on both sides. You need to pull them up to the top, and then it will release. There we go. And so that's the removal of your airbag. And when you're ready to put it back on, it's the reverse order. Just hook these wires back up, and then you just press it on. It's not as hard to get it on as it was off. Right? So what you're going to see here, or you should see this little wires move, or wire / spring. So when you put your tool in here and you're able to get under it and applying pressure toward this piece of metal, then you're going to pull up, and the spring inside here will move, as well as the one on the top, and that's how it releases your will release the center steering wheel airbag. So since we've removed that, we're now going to turn the steering wheel back 180 degrees to be straight for the rest of the process. So we've removed the airbag. So what you need is a T50 to be able to undo this bolt there. We're gonna pop the electric first. We have the standard red safety clip that we need to pull back a little bit. There we go. So the clip has been pulled back, and now depress the yellow clip under it, and then we can unhook that electric connector. Now we have a mark here showing our screw to be straight up and down, or our bolt. We'll just remark it. And when we tighten it back on, it may be off a little bit, but we just know. Now, you either need a good long breaker bar and be able to hold with one hand, or have a helper hold the steering wheel while you brake that, or use a good impact to undo it. Have an impact to be able to get this off. Took a little effort, but it did come loose, and now it has popped off. Now it did back the steering wheel itself backed up and off, but we're still good because we didn't lose the splines. Because when we put it back on, we want to make sure we line it back up and have it on there in the same spot. Otherwise, you're going to have a steering wheel that's crooked, and it can throw off the clock spring. So, I'm going to make a nice, good mark here so that we can line the splines back up in the same spot we took it off. I'm going to make 2 marks. Okay. So we made the marks there. Now when we pull this off, we're also checking behind that nothing is attached there, and we want to keep that clock spring the way it is right now. So steering wheel has been removed, and that's that, and with your paddles inside. So that's the steering wheel. This is the hole that I was speaking about, where you're able to put your screwdriver in, catch it up on the top, and you can twist it to unlock it. Now we are to the stage where we can install our steering wheel. So we have our whole steering wheel here. We will pull this tape off, and we want to basically keep this still straight up and down. Line up our steering wheel with our marks that we made, and see that we have aligned our splines in the right way, and that way, so when you drive down the road, you don't and you want to go straight. If you have it nice and level where you like it, and we're good. So make that electric connection, press in the red locking tab, and now we need to put the bolt in to hold the steering wheel on, and tighten that up. Alright, so we're good there. Now the last thing is just put the steering wheel airbag back on. Again, everything is still, no power has been hooked up to the vehicle because we don't want to cause any static in between this. Right? So we have our airbag connectors. Just press them down and they will self-lock. We have the ground wire that we need to attach. And we press it and it has a little locking tab there. And same thing with the other one. Lock that into place. Now that's all on there. Now that's all you have to do is you just line it up and press it straight forward, and your steering wheel has been put back on. Thanks for watching YOUCANIC, where you can be the mechanic.